Okay, what do you call this? It looks like a science experiment, some kind of mutation gone terribly wrong. It's just so beautifully fractalish. If you look down in here, the repeating patterns. And it looks like a head of broccoli or cauliflower. And I'm not big on cauliflower. Well, I can stand it. My wife doesn't like broccoli. Well, she can stand it, but it's not, it depends how things get cooked, I guess. Well, anyway, this is called Cavolo Romano. And I should probably look up some recipe for how to cook it, but I'm going to just give it a taste and go from there. It's just kind of cool, though, how it makes gazillions of little copies of the big things in it. Just super, like some kind of a fractal or a I don't know, mathematical. Anyhow, Roman cabbage, Cavolo Romano. Cavolo is cabbage, Romano is Roman, so that's what it's called. But yeah, it's definitely a member of the broccoli and cauliflower family. I started by working my way around, trimming off these outer leaves, and it's very cool. It's got little tiny versions of itself. It's made up of little tiny versions of itself. This is so neat. No, let's taste it. A little bit more like broccoli than cauliflower on the raw side. I'd say it's kind of mild. Still, I have no clue what to do with this. Well, bagna cauda is one answer. As you work your way up the stalk and you cut off these pieces, you're also cutting off little bits of tiny little leaves here that are growing up through. And it's mild, but it would be good in bagna cauda. Think on that. Okay, and I think I've cut off about a third of this head. And that's going to be enough to experiment on. And that's enough vegetables for one night. And they are supposed to be very high in vitamin C and antioxidants, so you don't want to cook them in oil for a real long time. Somebody recommended steaming them and then tossing them in some hot oil just to add the oil and garlic and flavor and maybe some hot pepper flakes. They do have a little bit of a slightly peppery taste on their own. So I'll try something like that. Okay, here's the plan. I'm going to dice these carrots up, caramelize them in a little bit of oil and butter, and then these guys go in. And we're going to just let them cook in there until they look like they're getting tender or nice or something. Just watch for changes. I'm going to put a couple of anchovies in. I think this came from the idea of, making bagna cauda to dip these with. So that's kind of the basis of this dish, is the salty and the sweet from the carrots, sweet and salty, and they've got a tiny little bit of a slight bitterness, a good bitterness to them, a good type of bitterness, and very, very little of it in the Roman cabbage. So, I don't know, seems like a winner to me. Okay, the olive oil is hot. I probably should have just used some sunflower oil for this. I will put a little bit of butter in here too, and that's just to let these guys caramelize and cook and fry in the oil, and and when they're soft, in goes the Roman cabbage, and maybe the anchovies should go in at the same time as the cabbage, so as it's being stirred around, and actually maybe it should go in before the cabbage. That way, as it's being stirred around with these carrots, let those anchovies break up so that that'll all permeate into the cabbage okay. So that's just going to sit there for 10 minutes or so on a medium heat. I'm going to turn it down a little bit there, just a little bit there, and then just let those guys sizzle along. Okay, so these have been sizzling here for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and if you look, you see they're starting to get a little bit brown, which is good. I'm going to wait to put the butter in. I don't want my butter to burn, so I'm going to put that in when these are cooked, because the butter is just a flavoring. And getting into this idea here of a little bit of anchovy taste, and a little bit of a bagna cauda kind of taste to it. I did learn from a friend of mine, my Piedmont connection, that some minced up walnuts with the anchovies in the bagna cauda is it's kind of a secret ingredient. Minced up walnuts or even walnut oil. So let's just give these their good old time and think about how we're going to get our garlic cooked into this. I'm thinking the garlic and anchovies are going to come in at the same time, so the garlic can kind of disintegrate along with the anchovies into a little bit more oil and then a little butter, and then our Roman cabbage will go into it, and something like that. We'll have dinner. Okay, I put a fork in one of my biggest pieces, and they're getting soft. And I was thinking about incorporating the garlic and the walnuts into this bagna cauda inspired Roman cabbage. I decided to just put both in my garlic smasher here, my garlic press, and just run them both through at the same time. And keep loading it and pushing it through. Okay, so that's all that came through the first squish. And I put another clove and another quarter walnut in there and got some more through. And I alternated. I put the walnut on top of where the garlic was last time. And just hoping to really maximize this idea here of getting these two to be very, very friendly. The walnut on top there. My burned cutting board. Okay, so now through it goes again. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 hands to scrape that off with and to get all the walnut and garlic out of there. Okay, so there's the combined garlic and walnut. And now I'm going to go over here and add, I'm not too sure how many anchovies. Really want to make a nice, get a lot of taste from them, because frankly that stuff, it's a little boring. Not bad, it's very healthy, and we've got all the health in it right now, the antioxidants and the vitamin C. Oh, here's a giant nice chunk of anchovies. Yeah, if I can get this piece, that'll satisfy me. Yeah. Okay, so that by the time that cooks down a little bit, now normally with bagna cauda, this cooks for an hour at least, sometimes more, and those anchovies just turn to nothing. They just go to like a kind of a paste almost. Very tasty. Yep, I've got my carrots cooking along here a little bit. Sort of, I might have overcooked them just a little bit, but it'll be fine. So I get a little bit of butter in there now, a little bit more olive oil. And at this point, it's going to be olive oil because there's not a lot more cooking to do here. And I won't lose the antioxidant qualities of the olive oil. So the butter's going to take 2 hands. Let me pause a second here. Okay, so a couple of healthy pats of butter on there. And let's just let these, kind of force these anchovies to break apart a little bit here. Go with a wooden spatula, the flat-ended one there. And the garlic and the walnuts are browning up in there pretty nicely. They're starting to smell like a little bit like bagna cauda. Okay, now that is now ready for this. So, in it goes, not to cook too much. And just to let them get coated with all these all these different oils, the oil, olive oil, and the butter, and the flavors that have come off the garlic and the anchovies and walnuts and so forth. And that's, you know, if you eat fish, if you're that sort of a vegetarian, well, there's butter in here too, so that's another type of restriction. That's the only problem I have with this is this sauce doesn't really coat the Roman cabbage too well. And I'm intentionally not cooking it very much here. I want to have it almost warm but raw-ish. I'm kind of thinking here if there's some kind of a trick I could use to make that all stick up on the Roman cabbage a little bit better, but I guess it's okay. It's not really a sauce, it's kind of just all sauteed together. So let's call this a work in progress. Gotta think about this sauce some more. I know it's gonna taste good. In fact, I can almost try a little bit here. Yep, that's very good. I'm thinking maybe the Roman cabbage should have been cut into a little bit smaller pieces. Might have helped. It's too late for that now. Okay, so it turns out there was a way to sort of get that Roman cabbage down to smaller pieces. You see these stalks here. I stuck a stalk with my fork and then just sort of went along and cut off the little pieces there. And there it is. Still looks like it needs a sauce or something on it. I'm just going to call it a hot salad and have dinner. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not turning the top quite yet. I'm going to, I should have had that much hotter when I tried that deglazing operation there. Just a little bit of white wine left here to get all these yummy bits off the sides of the pan. When that wine cooks down, then I'm going to make like a cream sauce here. With lots and lots of pepper in it. That's what I'm going to put on top of this, just to, I don't know, make it seem like it's done. It's very good like it is, but I don't know, it just seems to need some sauce on it to me. Okay, we're getting there. I've ground some black pepper into the wine here to let it mix together. I'm going to put a little pepperoncino in here. Oh, I think I just didn't record the part I thought I was going to record. So I put in some pepperoncino, some black pepper on top of my wine when my wine was almost done. I could have put those in a lot earlier, I suppose. And then I put just a dab of milk in here. I'm just going to let that cook over low heat until that milk thickens up a little bit. And that's my sauce, for better or worse. Okay, and there it is. And no, I should thicken that up more. Let's let it go a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to, I should have thought ahead on this and made a proper white sauce, like a white pepper sauce or something like that, because it's a little too late to get a thickener in here and to do a decent job of it. So like I said, for better or for worse, it does smell good, but I've lost a lot of my sauce in here. So, piece of bread, fix that. Well, not too bad, I have to say. Didn't have to rely on, you know, the nuclear bacon or anything like that. But just cooked enough. And the taste of the carrots and a little bit of butter and the anchovies. The walnuts are subtle. They don't jump right out at you. But it's good. So, I don't know. I suppose this is a lesson in what goes into some fundamental dishes and adding elements to basically use what you had in the fridge. I had this Roman cabbage in there for a week, and it's still good and fresh. It's very nice, but I did get it exactly 1 week ago. It's still crispy, crunchy, and so, but I didn't want to leave it in there another week. So this is what I did. I have no idea what to call it. Bagna. You gotta dip your hand to bagna cauda, and the caramelized carrots are definitely adding something to it. I like these big chunks that I cut the little florets off of. And the sauce is fine, but I haven't really studied pepper sauces yet. Creamy pepper sauces. I love pepper. So that's going to happen at some time. Yep. That bit right out of the middle there. It's really good. You really get the anchovy taste with these liquids in the bottom. These guys on top are pretty good, but if you dip them down in the sauce and get them, they're even better. So, okay, thumbs up on Roman cabbage. I have a way to do it. I'm sure there's a ton of better ways to do it, but this is, what am I doing in the frame? I'm sure there are tons of better ways to do it, but this is a good way. So, bon appetit.